Hi everyone, I'm Gustama Dikizarani. Thanks for being here. Today I'll walk you through something that's been puzzling policymakers and the EV industry. Why Indonesian consumers are still reluctant to adopt electric motorbike, even though they are environmentally friendly and cheaper to operate. We will dive into this using microeconomic theory, talking price elasticity, supply and demand, and consumer behavior. But we also touch on real-world obstacles like financing, infrastructure, and risk perception. It's not just about the bike. Indonesia has over 120 million motorcycles, and they are everywhere, from city streets to rural roads. They are cheap, reliable, and in many cases essential for their life and work. But here's the thing, almost all of them run on gasoline. Meanwhile, immoral adoption is still under 1%. That's despite growing government support. So, what's stopping people? High price? Limited charging station? Concern about battery and durability? And frankly, low trust. But most of all, it's a classic case of high cost sensitivity. In micro terms, it is demand curve that just won't move right yet. Let's break this down. In economics, we use price elasticity of demand or PED to measure how responsive people are to price change. For electric motorbikes, in Indonesia, the PED is estimated at around minus 1.2 to minus 1.5. That's high. It means if you can cut the price by 10%, demand could rise by 12% until 15%. And it makes sense. Most people still see e-motorbikes as expensive luxuries, not everyday essential, especially when the price gap between e-motor and fuel bikes can be up to 50%. So this is where micro theory hits reality. Even a slight price drop by subsidies or production efficiency could really move the needle. Now let's talk supply side. Why are these bikes still expensive? Simple, batteries. They account for 40% of the total cost. Right now, batteries in Indonesia cost around 140 until $180 per kilowatt hour. For a typical e-bike, that's about 3 until 4 million rupiah just for the battery. But there's the good news. With mass production and local supply chains, the cost could drop to below 100 US dollar per kilowatt hour. So this isn't a fixed problem. It's a scaling issue. Let's be honest. Would you buy a car if there were only 10 gas stations in the whole country? Probably not. That's basically where Indonesia is with charging infrastructure. Less than 200 public charging stations, most of them in Jakarta and Bali. And don't forget for battery swapping, still rare here, while China already has entire network built around it. So even if the price is right, people still hesitate. This is what behavior economics call present bias and risk aversion. People care more about today's convenience than tomorrow's saving. Let's go back to supply. Manufacturers in Indonesia are still working at small scales, so the average cost per unit is high. But once production hits 200,000 units per year or more, we will unlock economics of scale. Costs go down, supply increases, and suddenly the whole market becomes more competitive. It's a classic economic of scale story. Bigger factory, lower unit cost, stronger supply chain. Indonesian government isn't just watching from the sidelines. They have stepped in with real policy. There's the domestic market obligation policy to keep nickel at Indonesian for battery production, and the TKDN requirement, which push local content in manufacturing up to 40% and eventually 80%. Then there's direct subsidies up to 7 million rupiah per e-bike, and that actually works. when the subsidy was tested, demand jumped by 30 until 40%. It shows how smart targeted interventions can work when the market is elastic and people are price sensitive. So where does that leave us? Here's the short version. People want e-motorbikes for the environment issue, but only if they are affordable, reliable, and convenient. Price sensitivity is real, elasticity is high, so even small subsidy or financing support can go a long way. On the supply side, battery costs and lack of scale are holding us back. Infrastructure is the missing piece. Without it, demand stalls, no matter the price. And don't underestimate psychology. People are risk averse and they are not convinced yet. So if we want to unlock this market, we need a full package: subsidy, industrial investment, financing, innovation, and massive infrastructure rollout. Thanks for listening. Hopefully, this gave us a clear picture of how textbook economics and real-world behavior intersects in the electric vehicle space. This isn't just about motorcycle. It is about building trust, shifting behavior, and aligning market force with sustainability goals. Thank you everyone and have a good day.